Obviously, we're at the animal kingdom. There's the tree of life. We're in the supposed fast pass line.
Moving very slow.
They said they had a technical glitch, which happened to be a rhino
in the middle of the road. I beg to differ.
Does that happen to you in the Philippines a lot?
Yeah.
Rhinos in the middle of the road?
Yeah. Where? Too bad you don't have rhinos in Philippines.
Bradford? Rhinos?
We have beer bottles in the middle of the road, not rhinos.
No.
Beach?
Oh, if it's your first time, welcome to the Ron Bay Wildlife Reserve. No, we're not named after the gorilla. We were here first. Oh, that was fun. Let's see here. Well, friends, welcome to the Little Interior Forest. I'll tell you more about it in just a moment. For now, take a look on the right-hand side. See an antelope with the hindquarters of a zebra called the okapi. And the okapi is not related to the zebra at all. It's actually related to the giraffe because of its skull structure. It's a distant cousin. The only living relative of the giraffe who didn't have to adapt the long neck here in the forest because all of the food is pretty close by. Again, speaking of the forest, where we are is a place called the Little Interior Forest. Interior means little in Swahili, so welcome to the little forest. You'll see how little it is in a moment. Most of the animals here have master camouflage, so you want to keep your eyes open. Behind every thick bush and tall tree could be an animal or a very convincing shadow. Oh, wow. Coming up on the right-hand side, you see a large bird called a saddle-billed stork. There's actually a couple of them. When I say large bird, I do mean large, folks, standing about 5 feet tall with a wingspan of about 9 feet. See them on the right-hand side. There's one on the kind of in the corner over there, and then one at the top. Now, the ground's pretty stomped down on the left-hand side. Could be home to a rhino. Black rhinos are known to live around here. There we go. Back against the wall on the left-hand side, you see a black rhino. Now, they are rare, folks. There's less than 5,000 of them left in the world. And that's because of poaching. They're hunted for their horns. Ironically, those horns are made out of the same material that your fingernails are made out of, called keratin. There's another black rhino up there on the left. At the edge of the forest, there's a river called the Safi River. That's where we're going next to see if we can find some hippos. But before we go, take a look on the right-hand side. That light tan-colored antelope there is called a greater kudu. Second tallest antelope in the African wild, female by the looks of her. She doesn't have horns. The males are the ones who have horns that spiral up like a spiraling staircase. And on the left-hand side at the top of the hill, the reddish-brown antelope with white stripes are called bongos. Bongos are also known as the ghosts of the forest, disappearing behind everything. Now back to the hippos. I have to warn you, if you must blink, you want to do that now. Hippos can hold their breath anywhere between 5 and 8 minutes long, and they've learned how to do that while they're sleeping. They have great muscle memory. They're also among the most dangerous animals in all of Africa. They're extremely territorial. They love where they live. They have enough power in their jaws to snap a Nile crocodile in half. Keep your eyes open. Oh, there's a couple of, actually there's one hippo out of the water there. Sound asleep. All right, well, don't see that too often. Take a look at the right-hand side. Sound asleep there. It's a very brave bird. And on the left-hand side, you're looking at a bloated hippo. My back row, let's make sure that little one is seated for me, please. Once again, make sure the little one is seated back there. Yeah, I got a mirror. I can see it all. Now you're looking at the bloated hippos. That's right. Not everything here is called a herd. That's called a bloat. Born about 85 pounds. They'll grow up to be about 5,500 pounds. They get pretty big. Ironically, they're herbivores. They eat about 80 to 90 pounds of vegetation a day. Now the large white birds on the island on the left-hand side, those are called pink-backed pelicans. The backs aren't pink right now, but during mating season, their backs will turn pink. It's actually how they pick their mate. The brighter the pink, the better. We have a lot more to do and a lot more to see in only 2 weeks to do it all, and I plan on packing it all in. Besides, I drive so fast, 2 weeks will feel like 21 minutes. Oh, there's another hippo out of the water on the left. Actually, a few more down below. Oh my goodness, that's a baby hippo. And on the left-hand side down below, you'll see Nile crocodile. Now, they can grow close to 20 feet long. If you see them with their mouths open, that's how they regulate their body heat. They can run 10 miles per hour on land, and I can drive 8 miles per hour, so we're going to get out of here. Oh. Or not. That does not sound good. Okay. Hopefully that's the only bridge we have to deal with. Huh. Oh, would you look at that? On the left-hand side, rocks. There's a lot of those. They're coming up pretty soon. You see an ancient tree called the baobab tree. Baobab means upside down. If you take a look at it, it looks like it's upside down. The branches, well, they kind of look like roots on the right-hand side there. And you'll see leaves in those branches 3 months out of the year. The villagers of Harambe told me a pretty cool story about the baobab tree. It said that the creation God created everything you see around you, and he had one thing left in his bag, and that was that tree. So he reached down in the bag, he grabbed the tree, threw it over his shoulder, and laid it upside down. It's been that way ever since. But enough about trees. And welcome to the savannah. The savannah is what we like to call the highway for animals. Take the busiest highway back in your hometown and replace the cars with animals, and that is what you're looking at here. Also known as the Serengeti grassland, stretching for hundreds of miles across West Africa. We're gonna head down and take a look. Now I love the savannah because it reflects us. It's a giant community of animals helping each other. It's also always changing. And that's because of the animals that live out there and their different migration patterns. So you've never seen an area out in the savannah that looks exactly the same, day by day. Painted dogs, their other nickname there. Now they're nothing like the dogs you have at home. They're aggressive hunters. They hunt in packs of 5 to 15 and they'll chase their prey until their prey passes out. They're among the most successful hunters in all of Africa. They'll capture up to 80% of what they hunt. On the left, those brown antelope there are called sable antelope. They are the icons for Harambe Wildlife Reserve. They have a lifespan of about 17 to 18 years. Led by the alpha male, but it's the alpha female that makes the decisions for the alpha males. Sorry, fellas, it's nature. Now, if you look all around, you'll see termite mounds coming up on the left-hand side. You see a large termite mound. And they consist of dirt, dung, and saliva. So hard, elephants will use them as scratching posts, and when the elephants wear them down, the antelope will climb to the top of them and use them as lookout posts and look out for predators. Again, that is what the savannah is. A giant community of animals helping each other. The elephants are the ones who knock down the trees, creating space for things to grow. The cattle are the ones who stomp through the bushes, creating pathways. The antelope the ones who mow the grass. And that list goes on and on. It's a beautiful balanced system getting smaller and smaller each year. And that's why reserves like these are created. Harambe Wildlife Reserve was established in 1971. Back then, our purpose was to protect the wildlife of Africa from poachers. Then in 1998, we started to drive around and educate you about these animals, hoping that you'll join us in our conservation efforts to save them. After all, most of these animals are endangered. See some wildebeest out. Yeah, it's a baby giraffe there in between those trees. There's 2 of them. Judging by the size of them, they're about 3 to 6 months old. Now they look like Maasai giraffe. If you take a look at the spots look like puzzle pieces. That's how I know they're Maasai giraffe. Born about 6 feet tall. They'll grow up to be about 20 feet tall. They eat all day. 18 to 20 hours it's been eating. Only 30 minutes it's been sleeping. And they do sleep standing up. Now they also have 7 vertebrae in their necks just like we do. Their hearts are about 2 feet long. They have 1 giant stomach with 4 compartments, giving them 4 stomachs, and their tongues are about 20 inches long. Inside of West Savannah, there's a place called Monkey's Point. That's where we're going next to see if we can find some mandrills. Rafiki resembles a mandrill. You know the guy. Asante sana squash banana, that guy. Rafiki in Swahili means friend. There's some knocked over trees. It means we're close to elephant country. We may get to see both. And what elephants will do when they can't find any termite mounds to scratch on, they'll use the trees, knock them over, and strip the bark off of the trees and eat the bark.
Chains for it. Cleans my tires. Huh? Cleans my tires. Keeps the animals in the right place.
So there's an elephant on the right. I believe it's a male elephant. He's all by himself. They live by themselves until they create something called a bachelor herd. That's right, just a group of guys hanging out. And on the left-hand side, there's a few mandrills. In between the trees, you'll see one that I can see. Thought I saw a few more in the back on the left. Largest monkeys in the African wild. The male can grow close to 100 pounds. The female is close to 30 pounds. Pretty big size difference there. Anyone know the difference between monkeys and apes? No? Tails. Monkeys have tails and apes do not. On the right-hand side is the beginning of elephant country. That's where we're going next. It's easy to get there from here. All we have to do is get right across the road. Oh no. Road closed. It's impossible. They just built that road last week. And I can't turn around. Alright, we'll take a detour. There's an old bridge around the bend that hasn't been used in years. I'm not even sure if it's safe, but hey, I've got on the seatbelt. Oh, look at glowing green plants. Oh, I have a bad feeling about this. Listen up, whatever you do, don't panic, okay? The worst thing that could possibly happen on a bridge like this is if it made noise. Like that. Hey guys, don't move. Just kidding. Move, 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 move. Lean right, lean right, lean right, lean right. Ma'am, your other right. Never taking that bridge again. Now where are we? Red clay. Elephants love red clay. On the right-hand side, those are tusk marks. We're in elephant country. Yeah, take a look on the left, way in the back. I'll have to go around and get a better view. They like to eat the red clay. That's their vitamin for the day. And they are led by the oldest female called the matriarch. What does that mean? Grandma calling all the shots. You know, they're African elephants because of their ears. Their ears are shaped like the continent of Africa. They can hear about a mile away, and they'll flap their ears from time to time to keep themselves cool. There we go. Now when they're born, elephants weigh about 300 pounds. The pregnancy lasts 22 months, close to 2 years. And they'll stay with their mothers anywhere between 13 to 15 years old, so somewhat similar to what humans do, give or take a few years. Full grown, they weigh about 10,000 to 15,000 pounds. To put that in perspective, that's about half of what this truck weighs. Speaking of my truck, let's see if it still floats. Oh, would you look at that, greater flamingos. The lightest and largest of the flamingo family, standing about 5 feet tall. They are born gray. They turn pink over time because of their diet on shrimp and krill, high in a chemical called keratin. A flock of flamingos is called a flamboyance. You see a wildebeest coming up close on the right-hand side. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have never seen an island shaped like that before. That's an oddly shaped island. Huh.
It looks like a mouse.
Oh well. Gonna head into the east side of the savannah now. That's a big mud pit. There's mud everywhere. White rhinos have been here. What they like to do is roll around in the mud to protect themselves from the sun, and they'll rub against the rocks and trees to get the extra mud off. Rhino sunscreen is what I like to call it. They've been here. Keep your eyes open. That's a 5,000-pound animal, kind of hard to miss. Oh, there we go. On the right-hand side, white rhinos. Obviously not white. Originally named Vites rhinos. Vites meaning wide or angled. Their mouths are angled differently than their cousins, the black rhinos. They weigh about 5,000 pounds, traveling speeds close to 35 miles per hour. That's why a pack of rhinos is called a crash. Oh, the brown antelope over there, it's called a bontabak. I don't think you guys probably heard of a bontabak before. Bontabak are extinct in the wild and only found in reserves. The story of the bontabak, there's like about 20 of them left. The farmer found them, put a fence around them. That 20 or so turned to thousands. And that's how they were saved. Unfortunately, they're still extinct in the wild. They haven't been reintroduced yet. This here is cheetah territory. There's one walking around back there. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. Only large cats whose claws don't retract. For you sports fans, it's like wearing cleats 24/7. Gives them the traction they need to run at speeds close to 60 miles per hour. They go 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds, but they can only keep that speed for about 30 seconds. Everyone look towards me on the left-hand side in the corner by that tree stump. Again, they can only keep that speed for about 30 seconds because of how they're built. They're nothing but lean muscle. So the energy that they take to run at those speeds burns off very fast, and they're afraid of anything larger than them, like lions. So just around the neck, the darker the mane, the older the male. See, he's not that old. The male lion's primary function is to guard and protect the territory where they live, and as you can see, he's doing a great job.
They're so busy.
Oh, there's a lioness next to him on the left.
Oh,
Female lion, there she is.
see the
Female lions are the ones who do most of the hunting and teach the pride how to hunt.
head?
You guys already speak some Swahili. Simba, it means lion in Swahili.